This is Maddison. Hillton, take one.
Hello, everybody. We have Maddison Hillton in the house with us today. Well, who are you, Maddison?
That's the question everybody wants to know. I'm a showbiz guy.
Okay.
You know, typically, I'm behind the scenes. I have no desire to be famous, to be celebrated, to be known. But in today's time, it just is what it is. You know, if somebody can't Google you, or if you don't have a substantial amount of followers on social media, people just don't take you serious. So that's the purpose of this this project, Industry State of Mind. It's just it's kind of a window into my mind, why I think, how I think. You know, my process of my format of thinking. You know what I mean?
So you definitely want to give people an inside look to kind of get a little bit more intimate with you, and
I want to be understood.
Okay.
It's a very rough feeling to be misunderstood, especially when your intentions are good, right? You know, not getting along with people, not being liked. Not so much that I care about somebody's simple views of me or whatever. That's childish, high school, you know. Oh, he wore that, she wears that, or whatever. We don't like her. But unfortunately, some people don't mature past that, and they bring that into adulthood, and it's a hindrance, you know, professionally. So this is a project that, you know, I get to tell my side of the story. You know, I get to speak my piece. You know.
Okay. In a comfortable environment.
Yeah, I'm home. We're here. Blast Pop Productions, Ace Michael, shout out. This is part 2 in the studio. I actually started in the studio. First time I ever jumped in front of the camera on my own projects. So yeah, I'm home. I'm home.
I love it.
Back in Vegas, yeah.
Okay, we're ready for question 2.
Ready for question 2.
I just paused. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you. Well, it is now 2022. Where has Maddison Hillton been, and what have you been up to?
You know, trying to progress. You know, I hate to use the word try because it implies failure. But you know, when things don't go according to plan, you got to try again. You know, dust yourself off and keep pushing. And that's just kind of been the experience. It's supposed to be, my idea was it was supposed to be a lot smoother. Nothing really negative. I don't want to neg out this episode with emotions, right? How I process what has happened, because there's always a good and a negative to take away, a good and a bad to take away from it. But it just hasn't gone according to the plan, to my plan.
Right.
When you're dealing with an entrepreneur, you're dealing with somebody who is self-made. That's why we can't work for other people, because their plans are not our plans, and my plans are a conflict of interest to their plans. You know, they need a soldier that will not question, do as he's told, and just march. Whereas, you know, I have my own destination. You know, I want to rule my own destiny.
You need to be in your own lane so you can really reach your full potential.
Yeah, it's all about our destinies. End of the day, where are you going to end up? You know, do you really want to trust someone else with that journey? You know, some people, they're comfortable with that. They have that capacity to trust like that. I have to do that myself, you know, and I've taken that challenge, you know, and it's a challenge.
It is.
You know?
It definitely can be. And where is it that you've been for the last couple of years? I know you mentioned something about leaving Las Vegas during the pandemic.
Right. Went out to Texas. Shout out Robert Barg, a friend of mine, someone I'd consider a friend in the industry, very few of those. But he gave me the opportunity to advance my career into management, and went to Austin, Texas, and worked with him there for a short short stint. And I've been in Texas the last couple of years, experiencing management.
And how has that gone?
Not according to plan. Again, I'm a dreamer. I'm a creative. Most people haven't been where I've been in showbiz. And that's, again, part of this project is to kind of take the camera and people into my life. And so they can see why I think, how I think, some of my accomplishments and successful projects that I've been a part of. So they understand my confidence, that it's not arrogance.
Right.
And back to just being understood and my abilities. I'm confident in my abilities to progress things, So, it hasn't gone according to plan. A lot of times we find ourselves outnumbered. It's kind of like high school. You're a new kid. You're from a different school or different city or whatever. Your style is different, and people just kind of nitpick at you. And unfortunately, you have adults that haven't matured past that,
Right.
and hinder your professional progress with those sort of antics.
So do you believe that these people could be threatened by your confidence and your approach to the industry?
Me personally, I don't ever want to say that I'm a threat to somebody. Don't mistake it. I am a very serious guy, and in multiple capacities. I'm an intellect. I'm a free thinker, but it's never negative. I don't think I'm a maker, not a taker. So whereas somebody says, I want that person's job, I don't want that. I want to create a title for myself. I want to support that person's job, because if I take your job, how are you going to put food on the table? That doesn't necessarily mean you keep your job or you move up or you stay employed or whatever. So I just always try to not look at myself as a threat, but unfortunately, I'm seen as that.
It's definitely could be the perception, but you don't
I hate
believe
that
in. But you don't believe in, stepping on other people to get ahead. You'd rather
No.
just
No,
create.
that's
your own-
colonial. I think you and our people, have suffered tremendously from this colonial way of doing business and just the whole culture that has shaped the Western world,
Right.
right? So, I consider myself more tribal.
Okay.
And in a tribal dynamic, if I have a bowl of soup, you may have half my bowl of soup, and anything else that I have. Each one teach one. Not the game is sold, not told. It's just a very nasty way to go about life.
It is.
And
It is.
it's damaging.
No, it
It's
is.
very
Especially if
damaging.
you're somebody that has a conscience and
Yeah.
that if you're very in tune with yourself and your emotions,
Yeah.
even if you do reach success, you're not going to be, you're still going to have that in the back of your head, So.
Right.
So it's definitely good to avoid that, and it shows a lot of integrity on your part.
Integrity is important. I come from, I'm more of a street guy and I'm not saying I'm some badass or whatever, but, I'm more of a street guy than a college guy.
Okay.
But I'm highly intelligent. So I got the best of both worlds. Enough intelligence to stay out of the trouble of the street, but enough street to survive.
Right. And you kind of do need it in the industry. You kind of have to have
it's
a
vicious.
thick skin,
It's vicious.
So
it's very
it's
vicious.
tough, and a lot of people don't understand that. They think it's very glamorous and it's all
Yeah.
festivities and everything, but in all reality, like you were mentioning earlier, there's always politics involved, and behind.
I hate that word.
Yeah, I do too. But in all reality, we can't really avoid it. If you're,
Facts.
working in certain industries, you definitely have to take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're able to make the best of, bad situations and at least get, some knowledge out of it from the experience, and you kind of grow from it.
Well, ain't that where we come from?
Yeah.
Taking lemons and making lemonade. I mean,
Right.
we're the underserviced. We're the we're the underdogs. We're not supposed to be here, you know, and that's something else I pride myself on that people may take as arrogance and use against me.
Right.
In the politics is just my IQ. I call it club IQ or industry IQ. I have a high industry IQ, you know. Those that have worked with me in the club situation. Shout out Scott Shahadi, man. Scott over at Crazy Horse 3. Man, you taught me a lot, dude. Love you forever. You know, you watch me on the floor, I know everything that's going on. From across the room to what's immediately in my close vicinity. And, you know, over there, I was a closer, right? So I worked like 2 a.m. shift to 10 or 12 to 8, right? So all the other hosts and managers would be gone. And then I'm left to hand off the night shift to the day manager. Pete, what up? Greek to Pete. Pete the Greek. Sorry, Pete the Greek. Yeah, that's my guy. I love you too, bro.
Oh, the Greek.
Yeah.
I like that.
Papadopoulos. You know I have a hard time saying your name. But I would hand the night shift off to him, right? And he's like, man, Maddison, don't fucking bother me. Like, handle it. I got to get these numbers. You know, the owners in Boston, so they're up 3 hours before us, or 4 hours, whatever the time zone. 3 hours difference, yeah. So he's like, man, I'm behind on these numbers. You got to handle it. So it matured me and advanced me to make management decisions even back in my learning curve. Right. I had to make that right call. Okay, you know, my mantra as far as working in a club, in a venue, is protect the club, make money for the club, protect the girls, make money for the girls, make money for yourself. You know, that's the priority there, right? So I had to make decisions based on that. You know what I mean? Okay, am I causing a liability for the club? You know, so on and so forth. But, you know, kind of got lost on that.
No,
Kind of lost
okay.
myself. Got on a ramble there. But
that's okay. So you were mentioning that sometimes when you're around certain types of people, you really have like a big stance on energy and somebody's vibration.
Yeah.
How
Low
do you
vibration, versus high vibration.
a high vibration?
Yeah.
So how is it that you go? How do you kind of have that discernment when you're? Do you have it when you meet somebody initially?
That's a great word, discernment.
Thank you.
That's a spiritual word, right? So.
Well, so are vibrations. You know, it's like all like in a spiritual level.
Right.
Do you kind of have like that initial intuitiveness, like when you meet somebody, it kind of just like it's very apparent, or is it after you kind of like observe people and kind of approach it that way?
Definitely. Everything that glitters is not gold. I can make myself. I clean up very well, right? So
I can see that.
Thank you. Yeah, a little confidence booster there.
Yeah.
But now you got me blushing.
No.
But you never want to judge a book by its cover one way or the other, right? I can go get a haircut, put on some nice clothes. I prefer an ascot. Those who know me, that's my style.
Okay.
You know, women can put on makeup, get their hair done, do all the glam.
Clean up nicely.
Clean up nicely, right? And you think you're dealing with something that you're not, right? So Hebrew wisdom, you know, I'm a Jew, so, you know, when it comes to spirituality, you know, we've got a whole Hebrew history of following examples of those before us, right? You know, it says you'll know a tree by its fruit, right? So to judge one prima facie, right, first face value, you're doing damage to yourself, a disservice to them, because you may treat them worse than they deserve to be treated, or you may misjudge them.
Yeah. Or in some cases, how you were mentioning that not everything that glitters is gold.
Right,
You could
right.
invest yourself and treat somebody better than they
damage
truly
yourself.
deserve.
Exactly, and that,
So
yeah.
it's kind of like a two-way street when it comes to that,
Vice
especially
versa,
when
yeah.
you're consistently meeting like a huge variety of people from
You gotta do it
all
quick in
walks of
showbiz,
life.
yeah.
Yes, you do, and I feel like you kind of being in the industry, you kind of get conditioned for it.
Right.
And after being in that environment long enough, you really learn how to navigate it. But it really is a learning curve. Like, it's good
totally.
if you have like a high emotional intelligence, and you're just good with people in general. But really, you don't really learn that until you're actually in the mix of it.
So now I'm going to get to know you a little bit,
Who, me?
right? Yeah, you.
No, this is about
because
you.
you're speaking some industry, knowledge that you have to be in the industry to understand that. So
Yeah.
who am I sitting here with?
Well, my name is Nelly.
Nelly, okay.
Nelly, yes.
We are just meeting y'all,
Yes,
so this
it's our first interview together.
Definitely. So this is organic right here. As behind the scenes, Maddison, Hillton, you know me to be. This is not scripted, so.
Right, yeah. We're just kind of
flowing.
Feeding off of each other's energy.
Definitely. So you work Vegas nightlife, or?
Yes, I grew up in Las Vegas.
Okay.
I've been working in the industry since I was 17.
Wow.
When I turned 21, I became like a model dealer. I've dabbled
Definitely
in
a model.
cocktail waitressing. Thank you, you're sweet. Doing cocktail waitressing, bottle service for big companies, like most recently at Bellagio.
Oh wow.
And
That's amazing.
but for me, I actually kind of parted ways from the industry.
Okay.
Just that one for now, because I've been trying to emphasize more on my modeling career, and now that Vegas has grown so much, I've had the opportunity to pretty much work full time.
Okay.
Back in the day, we could really only commit to it part time because
Right.
you wouldn't be booked as consistently. But now, I've gotten much better at managing myself and staying booked consistently enough, and I'm also currently working as a go-go dancer. So
Okay.
I dance a couple nights a week. So
Right.
I get my little party fix, my little industry fix, and then I
Get
sign out and go,
Yeah, definitely.
But for me, that's just something that I've learned from working, in different nightclubs, lounges, casinos. It's always, like I understand like what the industry is like and all of the politics. Women, on the other hand, have like our own genre of politics, especially because it can be like a very competitive field.
Totally.
For the most part, it's always something that you can learn from. But yeah, that's just a little bit about my background.
Good deal.
Okay, back to you.
Oh, back to me.
Back
All
to
right.
you. So, Maddison.
Yes, ma'am.
On to a different topic.
Okay.
While I still have you here, would you consider yourself to be a public figure?
I'm working on that.
Okay.
Again, I'm a very private individual, but showbiz is my industry of choice. And nowadays, you got to have a social media presence. You have to be out there. People have to be able to see you and follow you. So I'm in the process of becoming that public figure for my industry and giving it a voice, some representation.
Right. So like you were saying, you would consider yourself a more private person,
Right.
but you do realize the importance of like credibility in the industry.
Definitely. I have credibility, definitely.
What would it be considered? I think it'd be more like
Validity.
notoriety.
All I'm concerned with is credibility and validity.
Okay.
Notoriety, that's people's opinion,
Right.
whether they like you or not or whatever. There's no denying I'm an industry guy. I've spent the last 7 years working in Las Vegas. As far as this segment of the industry, my work before, that's what I'm taking the camera kind of into the past to show, oh wow, this guy's been around for a while, just behind the scenes.
Yeah, like he's not new or anything.
Not at all.
Not new.
Not at all.
How do you feel about branding and creating that brand for yourself? How is it that you go about approaching that?
Well, my logo is an umbrella. And if you listen to, I'll do a project. I wanted to do it a while back, but what's her name? Rihanna had a song with Jay-Z, Umbrella, right? To me, it just encapsulates what management, talent management, you being a model, your manager, the relationship that you should have. We'll go through it together. We'll weather the storms. We'll shine together. We'll grind together through thick and thin, right?
And you really have to have that bond and trust
Totally.
when you're, fully being managed by somebody.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's your whole professional life and your livelihood. So
Yeah, exactly. It's a
definitely.
responsibility that one has to take for another, right? It's like it's a parental almost responsibility. So Dame Dash, shout out Dame Dash. I learned so much from him. I can't wait to get in some sort of mentorship situation under him. But he's the one that first used the umbrella, and it was a song that Kanye did where he said, you know, you got to be under somebody's company. You know, you have to, you don't want to be out there alone. You don't want to catch a break. And that just really resonated with me, right? And so the umbrella became my logo.
Okay.
And that's always what I've set out to do, is protect other people from themselves and also the industry, because the industry will eat you alive.
Spit you back out.
Spit you back out
Yes.
for fun. For
Yeah,
fun,
it's
it will
a
do it.
tough one.
It is.
I know we were talking about like needing thick skin. And
Yeah.
you really have to be very sure of yourself.
Totally.
And not let people mess with you and like
totally.
what your identity is, because
Right,
people will
right.
try to do that. They'll create an opinion of you and
Right.
then just base it as though it's like it's a fact or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
When in
well,
all reality, it's like
yeah,
they're
they'll
like
put a-
so far out of the real loop.
Yeah.
That
They
it's
don't
like-
know you.
It can be frustrating.
Yeah, they don't know you.
100%.
And, you know, yeah, so that again is I take as a responsibility of a manager to kind of be the anchor, to be your rock of Gibraltar. You know what I mean? That you anchored to, right? Hold you down when the seas swell. You know what I mean? And it's rough out there. You're anchored. You know,
Right.
management is the core of your team. You know, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
love that.
I'm that guy. You know.
Okay. I like that approach to it. It's
Thank
it
you.
seems like it's really very well thought out, and it really goes well with how you you know, how you'd like to carry your life and your
Right.
relationships, which is really important to kind of have that connection
Right.
with your brand.
Well, I'm known as the gentleman of clubs. That's kind
I
of
love that.
what I started for myself.
And he is a gentleman, by the way.
Thank you so much for the recognition. You know, the way from the way I dress to my mannerisms, everything is with purpose. Everything is
Right.
with intent. I mean to do every gesture, every little thing, right? I put a lot of thought. I think really fast. Everything I do is on purpose, with purpose, right? So, as a gentleman, I think it's important to keep that etiquette alive.
It is. Especially always being like around so many different types of people,
Right.
women.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, I mean, it's just something that's gonna
Professional.
make exactly.
Yeah.
You would never, because there's people out there. They kind of make you look a little uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
you're kind of like, are they oblivious or do
Yeah,
they just not know
yeah.
any better?
We call them goofy. Yeah, the game goofy.
But it's good to be able to like navigate situations like that, you
Right.
know, because you always want to make everybody comfortable.
Correct.
You know, because then you don't want to
Hospitality. We both come from hospitality, so we're trying to make everybody comfortable.
Everybody's comfortable before us, you know.
Yeah,
like,
definitely,
It's always everybody
definitely.
first.
It's a selfless thing. Yeah.
It is, and it's honestly like a talent, and it takes
It is.
people with like a very strong confidence to do it. You
Totally,
know, you're not
totally.
gonna feel belittled by,
Yeah.
doing your job right and being a hard worker.
Okay.
Well, Madison, this
Yes,
has all
ma'am.
been great.
Fun.
I
Total
loved
great.
chatting with you and getting to know you and
Yeah,
really
yeah.
getting an idea of what it is you stand for.
Yes, ma'am.
And I really love a lot of the things that you've said. I think you're a very wise person.
Thank you.
And
Better be all this
100%
white hair.
and 100% a gentleman also. So
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate
Thank you.
you for taking the time.
I appreciate you
Thank
for
you
this
so
interview.
much.
Yeah, definitely. Industry State of Mind episode, I don't know, whatever it'll be. The beautiful Nelly took time out of her day to interview me, and I appreciate that so much. It's been an honor to get to know you. I wish you all the best and all the success in your modeling career, and you're a phenomenal spokesmodel.
Oh, thank
A lot of people can't speak in front of the camera, so hey, anybody out there needs a
Ton of
spokesmodel,
practice.
we've got cards, and she didn't even use it. You know what I mean? So, she's dope. She's dope. So yeah, I wish you all the best. And
Thank you.
Maddison Hillton, Industry State of Mind. It's a wrap.